Hello, and welcome to another session of Speak Write Right with Dr. TT. That's me. You know I say, once a teacher, always a teacher. I just can't get it out of my system. Thank you very much for taking the time to spend this little bit of time with me, and I hope you'll enjoy this session. So I say nobody knows everything, so everybody can learn something. Maybe you learned it in school, maybe not. Maybe you used to know it and you simply forgot. You can get it right here and it's tuition free. Let's keep it simple. Spend a few minutes with Dr. TT. So what is Speak Write Right? Thank you again for asking. I like to say they're just little brief segments that will address a little bit of grammar, a little bit of conventions, a little bit elementary, maybe a little bit advanced, a little bit of trivia, even a little bit of surprise. But we want to make it a whole lot of fun. And the goal is to kiss. Let's keep it simple, sweetie. Therefore, we won't delve into a whole lot of technical explanation, but I hope enough for you to be able to make use of the information that we do cover. So my golden rule is simply don't listen to how I say it, listen to how I tell you to say it, because sometimes I'll say it in a very unconventional way just to be me. So today's topic is Joe's messy text. So I ask you all to send me feedback or any questions that you may have or any issues, topics that you would like for me to address along the way. Well, Joe took it all the way. He sent me this whole messy text. So I want you to see what the text is. And I call it messy because he was messing with me when he sent it. So he says, "Hi, TJ. Just wanted to say hi to you and Paul. Hope you guys are staying safe. Also wanted to say Happy New Year's and hope you and Paul had a happy Valentine's Day. How was yours? Mine's was good. Maybe me and Paul can someday go catch some fishes and hunt some deers. I hear that there is some good deers hunting in Orange County too. And I tried to get the testes for the viruses. How your children doing? Can't wait till the viruses is gone. So we can go to the Red Lobster to get some scrimps and some of those good biscuits. I don't like wearing those masks. Irregardless, I hope you're doing well. Love, Joe." And I kindly redacted his wife's name. She is the innocent. We will protect the innocent because she had nothing to do with Joe's foolery. So let's take a few seconds and let you look at Joe's text a little bit more and see how many of his messy points might you be able to find. Take a few seconds. Dun, 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 dun. Time's up. Let's go play with Joe. So here's Joe's text. We're getting ready to glove up and we're going to dissect Joe's text. Most of it anyway. As you can see on the screen, we're only going to take a look at 10 of Joe's messy points. There are many more, but we're going to focus on 10 that I think are some of the priority ones, or even some of the ones that some of you have already asked me to address. So he caught a few of those in here as well. So let's start at the very top. He says Happy New Year's. We've already talked about it. There's no S on New Year's. It should simply be Happy New Year. So remember, we're going to keep it simple, sweetie. We're going to briefly address each point and keep it moving. So that was point number 1. Let's keep it moving. Number 2, he says Happy Valentine's Day. Well, he capitalized both words. That was good. But Valentine is Valentine with an N and not an M. People often say Happy Valentine's Day, but it should be Valentine with an N. Also, this one does have an S at the end, just as Joe has it, but it should be apostrophe S because Valentine is someone's name. It was named after someone, so it's Happy Valentine's Day, apostrophe S. All right, Joe, you're making a mess. Let's see what else Joe has done. So he says mines, and if you'll notice, the ring around mines is extremely thick. It's thicker than it was for the first two. And that's because that is one that you all have been asking me to address, or some of you have asked me to address. Ladies and gentlemen, I know many of us as children were corrected over and over again, but there is no S on the word mine. It is yours and it is mine. And I know why we put the S on it, because we say it's yours. Why don't we put an S on mine? I didn't create the English language. I can't answer that question, but I can tell you there's no S at the end of mine. So yes, this was yours, and yes, this is mine. No S. Let's hold on to that one tightly, please, because that was a popular request. So another one, yeah, I let that one bounce away. So another one is me and Paul. We've been taught over and over again that you always say someone and I, but that's not true. Sometimes it is appropriate to say me. However, Joe was messy and he didn't use it the right way intentionally, I'm sure. So instead of saying maybe me and Paul, he should have said maybe Paul and I. And the best way to do this is to separate them. Maybe Paul can someday go. Maybe I can someday go. So that helps you see which one you should use. These are what we call subjective pronouns. If he needed to use me, he could say you brought them to Paul and me. You brought them to Paul, separated. You brought them to me. You wouldn't say you brought them to I. You brought them to me. That makes it an objective pronoun or an object pronoun. So that is when you would use me. But in this instance, it's a subject pronoun. He should have used the subject pronoun I. So maybe Paul and I can someday go catch some fishes and hunt some deers. Let's talk about deers. Deer is plural without the S. So it can be singular or plural without the S. So in the future, if you use the S on deers, know that there should not be one. 10 deer, 1 deer. They're both spelled the same. D-E-E-R. No S on deers for plural. I know the English language is so confusing. Sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. So he says, I hear that there is some good deers. That there that he has used is the possessive pronoun of there. And again, I want to keep it simple, so we're not going to get too technical with that. But that there means something belongs to somebody. He really meant T-H-E-R-E. So don't confuse your homonyms or homophones as you learn them in school. Let's see what Joe has next. He has your and your in 2 different places. How he meant, how are your children, meaning they belong to me. So he should have used the one down here, Y-O-U-R. And up here, he has your, which is a contraction for you are. You are, and the letter A is missing from the word are. Anywhere we delete the letter is where we insert the apostrophe. So here he technically has said, how you are children, when he simply meant how are your children belonging to us. And this would be, again, the contraction for you are. Moving very quickly. Let's see what else Joe did. Ooh, Joe made a big mess here. He said that they are trying to get the testes. Well, testis is not quite what he meant. That's a male reproductive part. And testes is the plural of that male reproductive part. So I don't think that's what he's trying to get. I hope he has his own already. But anyway, I won't touch that any further. Here he simply meant tests, and we don't say testes. We just simply say tests with the S at the end. Tests, masks. So that S just subtly sneaks its way in there. So Joe, I hope you all did get your tests for the virus. So the last one, no, not quite last. He confused the preposition to with the pronoun to. So here, this to, T-O, with the adverb to. This to, T-O, is a pronoun, and he really meant to have this one meaning also. Also, T-O-O means also. Here, this is simply a preposition that will be connecting there. So don't confuse your twos, and definitely don't add the numeral TWO in there either. All right, and here's a biggie. Irregardless. We don't say irregardless. We should simply say regardless. Regardless, not irregardless. Joe, you made a big mess of this. You did exactly what you were trying to do. You got on my last nerve. You succeeded, and I called him immediately and let him know. But there are several other things that Joe did in here that we don't have time in this short session to point out. But here are some of them just for your gander if you want to look at them. We will address many of these, not necessarily in Joe's messy text, but in several topics that I already have planned for us going forward. So take a quick peek. There are several other things here that you might have caught as you did your review of Joe's messy text. So all in all, there's all of what I found, or the vast majority of what I found wrong with Joe's messy text. And I'm sure you found some of those same things too. And Joe, ha ha ha, that was fun and it was funny. Thank you so much for taking the time to mess with me, Joe, so that I could share it with the viewing audience. Certainly appreciate it, certainly enjoyed it, and I hope you all have enjoyed this session as well. So as I say, remember, grammar is the difference between knowing your and knowing your. What do we think about Joe's email? I think it was pretty. All right, I think you get the message. So holla at me if you have any questions, if you have some quickies, some quotes that you'd like to share. Remember Q3. Send them please to me at SpeakWrite121@gmail.com. And please remember, subscribe. Hit your subscribe button and share this. Let's just have a little bit of fun. Spread the fun. Thank you again for spending time with me. I look forward to our next session of Speak Write Right. Have a good one.